Buongiorno, KOREAZ followers. I'm Lee Hae-sung. Today's KOREAZ Focus will be discussing about Italy. We have two guests joining us today. Welcome! Woo!
Hello everyone. I am Seong Kim, Professor of Italian Department of the Hankuk University of Foreign Studies, Seoul, Korea.
Nice to meet you.
Buongiorno a tutti. Hello everyone, my name is Cristina. I'm originally from Italy and I've been lucky enough to call Korea my second home for the last 19 years.
19 years.
Can you believe it?
Unbelievable.
By the way, I love your outfit. I thought, oh my goodness, Audrey Hepburn just stepped out of the movie.
Thanks for the compliment. By the way, have you also watched the movie Eat, Pray, Love or Letters to Juliet?
Oh sure, some classic movies, absolutely.
Those movies were also set in Italy.
Italy has a wonderful scenery for movies, I guess.
So after watching these movies, I actually went to Italy to travel.
Nice place to visit, yes.
You've been there, right?
Yeah, many times.
Many times. How many times did you visit? Yeah.
More than 100 times.
More than 100 times.
I mean, he's half Italian, you know, he lived
Half
there.
Italian.
Yes.
What really fascinated me was that although Italy is one country, each of its regions has its distinct history, food, even language.
In fact, I may say that Italy is a typical example of unity in diversity, simply because back in 476, when Roman Empire collapsed, practically Italy never united for more than 1,400 years. There was no political unity in the peninsula.
So each region remained independent.
Yeah. And only in the late 19th century, Italy could achieve unification again.
Ah, that's why.
That was the reason why, and they have their own autonomy and their special colors in terms of culture. Yeah.
That's so true. You know, sometimes even these days, we don't understand each other's dialects.
Really?
Like, dialects are so different. They almost look like different languages.
You don't understand people from other regions?
You know, at some extent, yes. Like, for example, I'm originally from Milano, so if I go to Sicily and like people in Sicily, they speak their local dialect, I may not understand.
That's similar to Jeju dialect, right?
Yeah.
So their culture is so diverse. So Professor, I think Koreans really love Italian food, Italian vintage furniture. What do you think is the reason for this popularity?
Italy is very strong in terms of basic life. I mean, eating, clothing, and shelter. All those basic needs, Italy is very strong. You know that Italian food is number one in the world.
Number one, yeah.
Usually, Italy is very famous for historical monuments. But I want to add one more thing. In terms of natural endowment, Italy is really very lucky, no?
Professor, can you give us any recommendation for tourists?
Lots of places, but one of them would be Taormina in Sicilian island. Very nice place. They see from the top to the mountain Etna, the volcano. You know that Sicily is made up of full of Greek origin because Greek city-state dominated Sicily before the Roman Empire. So there are many remainders of Greek cultures and civilizations. You should visit there.
In an interview last March, Emilia Gatto, the Italian ambassador to the Republic of Korea, expressed her hope that Italian culture will be more widely known beyond the well-known 4 Fs, which are food, furniture, fashion, and Ferrari, right? So Christina, do you have anything that you can share beyond 4 Fs?
Oh, well, I think not that many people know that Italians have won 20 Nobel Prizes. But not just in the field of literature and art, when you would think, I mean, you know, Italy is pretty popular on those fields, but also in the field of medicine, chemistry, physics.
The satellite, the first country was Russia, Soviet Russia. Second was United States, but number 3 was Italy. Aerospace industry is very strong, Italy.
Right, and considering that we're kind of a small country, you know, it's a big achievement.
Never missing 6 laureates for the literature. Most of them are poets. So Italy is very famous for poems.
Yeah, like Dante is also Italian. Right?
Divine Comedy,
And recently, the interest on the Korean wave has surged in Italy, right?
Absolutely. It's not just the K-pop. Korean restaurants gain popularity. Like in Milano, there are more and more Korean restaurants. Last time I went, it was full of Italians. Plus, not to mention Korean beauty. Like last year, I went back to Italy and I got a few like tissue masks to my friends.
Tissue mask.
Oh yes, they loved all of them. And now I'm going back to Italy in a week, so they start calling me, when are you coming? Oh, you're coming. Oh, bring the tissue masks from Korea.
Not because they miss you.
Exactly.
They miss the tissue mask.
Absolutely, they want some K-beauty products.
I may say that the image of Korea to Italians for 3-4 decades ago was very humble. No? I mean, some of them even asked me, is Korea still at war or not?
Oh my gosh.
But more recently, Korea is really fascinating to Italians. And I think that there are several reasons. One of them is that if the traditional media existed alone, probably K-culture couldn't extend so much. In my understanding, because of social media, such as YouTube, their dancing, singing, easily spread to younger generation. They accepted this culture, thereby K-culture, K-pop is really so strong as of now. Yeah. One more thing is that since Korean economy grew a lot, thereby such Samsung mobile phone and Hyundai car as well welcomed by Italians. The cultures go hand in hand with this economic power and cultural power together.
Hand in hand, right?
Yeah, hand in hand. The song was composed by an Italian composer, Giorgio Moroder, and sung by the Korean group Koreana. So, Professor, when did Korea and Italy first establish their relationship?
Yes, it was back 130 years ago, exactly 1884. But unfortunately, Korea became weaker, so annexed by officially Japan in 1910. So practically, diplomatic ties were stopped for long years.
Oh, I see.
And after the Second World War, and during the Korean Civil War, I mean 6.25, even though Italy was not official member of the United Nations yet, still Italy dispatched their ship, hospital ship to Korea, sending their doctors and nurses. And that hospital located near the Yeongdeungpo area, they treated about 230,000 soldiers and civilians. Wow. That is a really remarkable help to Korea in need. Thereby, Korean government still expressed gratitude for their help to Korea.
This year marks the 140th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between the two countries. So, please briefly introduce any significant events or achievements.
Well, there have been lots of events, but one of the most important things would be 2018, when the leaders agreed upon to launch so-called strategic partnership between Italy and Korea. You may know that in the year 2019, about 1 million Koreans visited Italy.
That's huge.
Yeah, great numbers. And also last year, it was, in terms of trade volume, the recorded $13.3 billion between Italy and Korea. So ever increasing this economic cooperation between the two countries.
And additionally, the 2024 to 2025 Korea-Italy Year of Mutual Cultural Exchange program started off with various projects and events.
On June 2nd, actually, in Bampo Bridge, they had a fountain light show, and they lighten up the bridge with the colors of Italian flag.
National flag here. Yeah.
Oh.
Right. Recently, History Museum, they also had a photography exhibition.
Yeah, utilized the photos of Carlo Rossetti, the photo book, yeah, in that occasion. Yeah.
The two countries have been closely cooperating in various fields, such as politics, economy, and culture, based on shared values and norms such as freedom, democracy, and human rights. Professor, in what direction should we develop our relationship?
Well, since we are strategic partners ever since from 2018, we may discuss everything under the table. And regarding North Korea and Korean Peninsula issue, Italy has been supporting our government's position for a long time. Korea has two diplomatic missions in Italy. one in Rome as a political capital, embassy, one in Milan as economic capital, as a consulate general. Usually, Korea dispatch one embassy in one country, but in case of Italy, there are multiple institutions. That means that Italy is very important for Korea for diverse regions.
Korea recently established the Korea Aerospace Administration, also known as the Korean NASA. Strengthening cooperation in the space sector will be beneficial.
Yeah, it was really emphasized last year when Sergio Mattarella, Italian president, paid a state visit to Seoul, November. I was there, state dinner in Cheongwade, Blue House. So on that occasion, 3 memorandum of understanding was signed regarding basic science and physics and others. No? So I think that both Korea and Italy, in the years to come, there are more bright side of bilateral relations, I may say. But I want to say one more thing here at this point. Modern history with Korea and Italy are, in a certain sense, very similar. Aftermath of the Second World War, Italy was really very difficult situation, but with the help of the US fund, the Marshall Fund, Italy could put the engine of economic growth, so-called economic miracle of Italy. It was back in 1950s. So after that, Italy could host Olympic Games in Rome back in 1960, and then become quite industrially fascinating country in the world. In a similar manner, Korea, even though we were very poor in the 1950s and 60s, but in a short period, we could accomplish short economic success with a strong government policy.
Right.
And finally, we could host Seoul Olympic Games in 1988. No? So in that regard, both Italy and Korea, even though there are some time difference, I think they took the same path regarding entering into the advanced industrial economies.
There's a saying, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. I hope both countries can move forward together in various fields. So today we commemorated the 140th anniversary of Korea-Italy diplomatic relations. How was it today?
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
I enjoyed a lot.
So Professor, I want to ask you, what does Italy mean to you?
Italy for me is everything. No? For more than 45 years, I did research on that to facilitate, to strengthen, to consolidate bilateral relations, to move up next level. No? So I may say that therefore Italy is my life.
It's your life. Yeah. What does Korea mean to you, Christina?
I think I have the same answer as the professor. It's my life and it's my second home, absolutely.
Half Italian, half Korean?
Korean, yes. I'm a Korean Azuma, you know?
You're so lovely. See you next time.
Arrivederci.
Arrivederci. Ciao.